We were sitting around at a neighborhood party making fun of my husband when he suddenly stood up and told me it was over for good. Hey YouTube, I'm using a throwaway for this because honestly it's way too embarrassing. I don't want my husband seeing this post, especially since he follows my main account. I'm in a real mess right now and truth be told I have no idea what to do next. My name's Samantha. I'm 22 and my husband Ryan is 24. We've been married 3 years, and we've known each other since our college days. Never in a million years did I think things would end up like this. Looking back, it all probably started with a bunch of little misunderstandings and some really careless choices on my part. Sorry if I'm jumping around here. I'm still hurt and pretty confused about everything. You see, Ryan's always been the quiet, introverted type, while I'm the outgoing, social one. I've always loved throwing parties, being around people, living it up. Ryan. He's more the stay-home with a book kind of guy. Still, he always backed me up and supported my social life, even if it wasn't really his scene. But I pushed too hard and now, I regret every bit of it. Here's a little backstory. Ryan's always been, well, a bit of a pushover. I hate calling him that, but if I'm being honest, it's the word that fits best. He always bent over backwards trying to make me happy, doing whatever it took to keep our marriage strong. I guess I took him for granted because of that. I figured he'd never leave, that he loved me too much to ever stand up to me. Ryan was the kind of guy who'd get up early just to grab my favorite coffee. He'd drop his own plans if I was feeling down, always putting me first. He was sweet, thoughtful, and always trying to please me. Over time, I stopped appreciating it. I didn't realize how much work he was putting into our relationship, or how my actions were hurting him. I started to pull away. When I told him I wanted to be a stay-at-home wife, even though we didn't have kids, he agreed without a second thought. He didn't hesitate for a second, but after a while I started slacking off. I stopped doing chores, stopped keeping up the house, just expected Ryan to pick up the slack. He'd come home after long days at work to a messy house and no dinner on the table. Still, he never complained. He'd just roll up his sleeves, start cooking, start cleaning, doing whatever needed to be done. I started seeing him as weak because of it, and I hated that feeling. I wanted someone tougher, someone who wouldn't just cave to everything I wanted. I started going out more with my friends, living it up while Ryan stayed home. Behind his back, I made jokes about him. My friends encouraged it, telling me I deserved someone better, someone who could keep up with me. The more I pulled away, the harder Ryan tried to hang on. He'd surprise me with gifts, plan sweet dinners, talk about our future together. But deep down I'd already checked out. I didn't want someone who worshipped the ground I walked on. I wanted fire and excitement. Our marriage turned into this awful cycle. Ryan trying harder and harder, and me pushing him further away. I even started flirting with other guys just to feel something. Ryan noticed, but he never called me out on it. Instead, he doubled down, thinking if he just loved me enough he could fix it. The respect I had for Ryan slowly faded. And honestly, so did the respect of our friends. It wasn't just the jokes anymore. It was how I treated him in public. I'd roll my eyes at him, shut him down when he tried to join conversations. People picked up on it. They followed my lead. They started making jokes about how Ryan was whipped, how he was too soft. And Ryan, always trying to keep the peace, would just laugh it off. But sometimes, just for a second, I'd catch a glimpse of pain in his eyes. Still, he'd brush it off with a smile and say he was just happy if I was happy. I didn't see it then, but it was eating him alive inside. Even Ryan's few remaining friends started pulling away. They didn't get why he stayed with me. Some of them told him flat out he deserved better, that he needed to stand up for himself. But Ryan always defended me. He'd say I was just going through a rough patch, that he loved me no matter what. The more he defended me, the more pathetic he seemed. And the less respect he got from everyone, including me. It became a terrible cycle, and I didn't know how to stop it. I started hanging out with people who fed my worst instincts. Folks who told me I could do better than Ryan. That I needed someone more on my level. Meanwhile, Ryan pulled back even further. He threw himself into work, taking on more projects and longer hours. He got quieter, more closed off, and stayed home when we got invited places. And when we did go out, he just faded into the background, letting me take center stage. I was too wrapped up in my own little world to notice how much I was breaking him down. Looking back, it's clear now, I treated Ryan like he was nothing, and he deserved so much better. He was a good man, patient, loving, and kind, and I walked all over him. My own insecurities and craving for attention tore us apart. I pushed away the only person who truly loved me. There are so many moments where I flat out disrespected Ryan. Since I'm already venting here, I might as well tell you about some of them. Sorry if this gets long. It all started a few months before that neighborhood party. Right around when I first started pulling away. I reconnected with some old college friends who had moved into town. They were wild and carefree, living the kind of life I thought I wanted. One Friday night, my friend Brooke invited me out for a girls' night. It was supposed to be just dinner. But it quickly turned into bar hopping and dancing all night long. Ryan, being the supportive guy he is, told me to go have fun. He even slipped me some extra cash in case I needed it. And I took it without even thinking twice. That night, after a few drinks, I laughed with my friends about how Ryan did everything for me. I bragged about being a stay-at-home wife with no kids and how Ryan never once complained. Brooke and the others laughed along, hyping me up, and I loved every second of it. The next morning, I woke up with a pounding headache and a lot of guilt. But true to form, Ryan had made me breakfast, like he always did after my nights out. He asked me how my night went, but I gave him some half-hearted answer. I could see he was worried, but he didn't press me about it. Instead, he smiled and told me he was just glad I had fun, that he loved me. Hearing that just made me feel even more irritated, and I brushed him off. Over the next few weeks, I went out more and more. Ryan kept supporting me, even though you could see the exhaustion on his face. Our talks got shorter. The tension between us got thicker. I could tell he was disappointed. But I ignored it, convincing myself he'd never leave. That he loved me too much to ever walk away. One night, Brooke and a few other friends came over for a movie night at our place. Ryan, being the sweet guy he was, cooked us all dinner and then headed off to the bedroom so we could have our girl time. After a few glasses of wine, the talk turned to relationships. Brooke started talking about her boyfriend, saying she wished he treated her the way Ryan treated me. That opened the floodgates. The jokes and comments about how Ryan was too good for me started rolling in. How I had him wrapped around my finger and how he was such a pushover. And once again, with the wine making me bold, I joined right in. I made fun of Ryan's little habits, the way he'd do anything I asked. I even joked that if I told him to jump off a cliff, he'd probably just ask me how high. The laughter from my friends made me feel powerful, even though deep down I knew it was wrong. Ryan must have heard everything from the bedroom. But he never brought it up. The next morning he acted like nothing had happened, even kissed me on the forehead and told me he loved me before heading off to work. There was a look in his eyes, though, a kind of sadness he couldn't hide. I felt a pang of guilt for about 3 seconds, then I shoved it down. The real breaking point came a week before the neighborhood barbecue. We were invited to a cookout at a neighbor's house. It was a beautiful sunny day, everyone was happy, the whole neighborhood showed up. Like always, Ryan was being amazing, helping out at the grill, making sure everyone had food and drinks, just being his usual kind-hearted self. At some point, the conversation turned to relationships again. Everyone started talking about how much work their partners put in. I started bragging about Ryan, how he did everything for me, how he catered to my every whim. I made it sound funny, like a joke. My friends laughed and tossed in comments about how whipped Ryan was and how I had him trained. Ryan was close enough to hear all of it. I caught him listening. And instead of feeling proud, I felt ashamed. But the need to impress my friends was stronger than the guilt. So I laughed right along with them, tossing out more jokes at Ryan's expense. Later that night, when we got home, Ryan didn't say a word. He went straight to bed without even looking at me. I just sat there in the living room, feeling angry and regretful all at once. I knew deep down I pushed him too far this time. But like always, I figured it would blow over. I convinced myself he'd forgive me, just like he always did. I didn't realize that day at the barbecue was Ryan's last straw. The neighborhood party a few days later was the real beginning of the end. It was supposed to be just another get-together, nothing special. We live in a tight community where parties like that happen all the time, a chance to catch up and have a little fun. But that night, I made a huge mistake. The party was packed, all the neighbors were there, everyone drinking, laughing, having a good time. Ryan, like always, was running the grill and I was off hanging out with my friends. After a few too many drinks, the conversation shifted to husbands and sure enough, Ryan became the center of attention. Everyone knew how much Ryan doted on me and they thought it was hilarious. Somebody made a comment about how lucky I was to have a husband who would do anything for me. Feeling tipsy and full of myself, I laughed and added a few jokes of my own. About how Ryan never said no, how he always did whatever I wanted, and how he didn't exactly have a backbone. The jokes kept coming, the laughter got louder. And that's when the whole vibe changed. I looked up and there was Ryan standing there, pale as a ghost, not saying a word. He'd heard everything. Ryan walked right over to our table, looked me straight in the eye and said, "We need to talk." I was caught off guard but followed him. I could feel everyone at the party watching us. That's when Ryan told me he was done. At first, I thought he was kidding. But Ryan wasn't smiling. He said he was tired of being disrespected, tired of being the butt of everyone's jokes, tired of me treating him like he didn't matter. He said he was leaving and that I wouldn't be coming back home with him. He told me my stuff would be out on the porch, then he turned around and walked away. I just stood there completely stunned. I couldn't move. I watched Ryan walk off into the night, not even looking back. Everyone at the party was staring at me, faces full of pity. They didn't need to hear what he said. You could see it all plain as day on our faces. I ran after him, but by the time I made it home, Ryan was already there, packing up my things. I begged him to stop. I cried. I tried everything I knew would get to him. But it was like he wasn't even there anymore. He wouldn't look at me, wouldn't listen. He just kept packing up my stuff, calm and cold. When he finished, he tossed my bags out onto the porch and told me to leave. At first, I refused. I kept begging. That's when he said if I didn't go, he'd call the cops. I knew he meant it, so I grabbed what I could and left. As I walked away, I could feel everyone's eyes on me, even my so-called friends. None of them came over to help me or even say a word. They just watched. I walked down the street crying, barely able to carry my things. My head was spinning, trying to process what had just happened. I had spent so long thinking Ryan would never stand up to me. I never imagined he actually would. I ended up sitting in the park nearby, still shaking, and called my dad to come get me. He showed up quick, thank God. He didn't say much. He was disappointed, sure, but he took me home. I've been crashing at my parents' place ever since. And honestly, I feel completely lost. I've tried calling Ryan. I've sent him a million texts. He won't respond to anything. This whole situation is way worse than I ever thought it could get. I should have seen it coming. I know I messed up. I don't need a bunch of strangers rubbing it in. I came here for advice, not to get torn apart. So yeah, can you guys just chill a little? The hate's overwhelming and honestly, I'm starting to regret posting at all. For those of you asking, no, I don't have a job right now. I said that in the first post, so I'm not sure why that's such a big question. And no, I'm not giving up on my marriage. I'm hoping we can still work things out. Also, no, this isn't some fake story. I have way better things to do than make up drama for YouTube. Yeah, I know I need to get my life together. I need to get a job, rebuild all that. But it's hard to think about any of that right now when all I can think about is Ryan. I miss him so much it physically hurts. I wish I could take it all back. But I can't. To everyone who actually gave me advice without tearing me apart. Thank you. Your words have honestly been a lifeline during this dark time. And for those of you who are just here to tear me down. Trust me, I'm already dealing with the fallout from my own mistakes. I don't need any extra negativity piled on top. I'm taking things one day at a time, trying to figure out how to make things right. How to show Ryan that I can change. It's not gonna be easy, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes. If anyone has real advice on how to handle this, I'm all ears. Another update, though honestly, I don't even know why I'm still posting here. Reddit's turned out to be way more toxic than I expected. But I don't really have anywhere else to vent, so here I am. First off, I'm beyond grateful for my parents. Without them, I'd probably be out on the street right now. They've been my rock through all of this. And I can't even begin to say how much their support means to me. Second, I finally realized all my so-called friends, Brooke included, were fake. Not one of them reached out after everything went down. No calls, no texts, nothing. They showed their true colors, and I've blocked every single one of them. It's clear they never really cared about me at all. As for Ryan, we finally talked. And he's set on getting divorced. I keep telling myself he'll miss me one day and regret it. But for now, I'm gonna respect his wishes. And if he ever tries to come back, I won't be waiting. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Still trying to figure out my next move. It's tough thinking about the future when everything feels so up in the air. I've been applying for jobs left and right, but so far, nothing solid. It's pretty discouraging, but I'm trying to stay hopeful. It's crazy how fast life can fall apart. One minute, I was on top of the world, surrounded by friends. And the next, I was completely alone, with nothing left but regrets. It's a lot to take in. Some days it feels impossible to process. But even after all this, I'm determined to move forward. I know I made a lot of mistakes. I'm ready to work on myself and be better. Still, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't bitter. I gave so much to my friends and to Ryan. And now here I am, starting over from scratch. To those of you who've been supportive, thank you. Your kindness means more than you probably realize. And to the people who've been cruel, I hope you never have to go through something like this yourselves. It's easy to judge from the outside looking in. It's a lot harder when it's your life that's fallen apart. For now, all I can do is take things one day at a time. My focus is on getting a job, saving up, and eventually getting my own place again. It's going to be a long, rough road. But I'm not giving up. I don't need anyone's pity. I just need the strength to keep going. Hey Reddit, it's me again. I know I said my last post was the final one, but I figured I'd give you guys one last update. After months of dealing with all the toxic comments, I stopped checking Reddit for a while. But here's where things stand now. The divorce is final. I'm still living with my parents. I did manage to get a job, though I hate it. It doesn't pay much, and honestly, the only reason I even got it is because my dad pulled some strings. As for the divorce itself, it was pretty straightforward. The house was Ryan's before we got married, so I didn't get anything there. Since I was a stay-at-home wife, I got a little bit of alimony, but it's not much. We didn't have any kids, so luckily there was no custody stuff to deal with. I tried talking to Ryan one last time. But he's really done. And you know what? He looks happier without me, and that cuts deeper than anything. I know I messed up. I know I'll never forgive myself. I'm done hanging around YouTube now. It's just too toxic. But I wanted to give you all one last update before I disappeared for good. To everyone who sent hate my way, go get a life. Thanks and goodbye. Except, yeah, I guess there's one more thing. I found out something crazy recently. All those single friends of mine, the ones who used to mock Ryan right alongside me, they're now trying to get with him. I found out by running into an old neighbor. Funny enough, I never talked to her much back then because Brooke didn't like her. Anyway, she filled me in on all the gossip. Turns out, all those fake friends of mine are now throwing themselves at Ryan. But Ryan's not interested in any of them, which honestly makes me feel a little better. They're terrible people and he deserves way better. It's funny how life turns around sometimes. The same people who helped ruin my marriage are now fighting for the attention of the man they used to laugh at. Bitter as it is, it's a hard lesson I needed to learn. That old neighbor? She was surprisingly kind. She didn't judge me for the past. She even offered to help if I ever needed anything. It's good to know there are still decent people out there. I'm still stuck at that awful job, but I'm saving every penny I can, hoping to move out of my parents' place soon. It's not easy, but I'm pushing through. Ryan and I don't talk anymore. I tried reaching out a few more times, but it's clear he's moved on. Seeing him happy without me is a constant reminder of how badly I screwed up. I've started therapy. It's helping me reflect on everything, helping me figure out why I acted the way I did. It's a long, slow journey, but I'm committed to changing for real this time. Anyway, this really is the last update. I'm focusing on the future now, taking it one day at a time. To the folks who gave me real advice and support, thank you. Your kindness kept me going more than you know. And to the ones still sending hate, move on. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm doing my best to learn from mine. Life's too short to stay stuck in bitterness. Thanks again and take care.